While many farmers rely on chemical pesticides to protect their crops, the Amish have developed natural, sustainable methods that work in harmony with nature. Their approach not only keeps their crops healthy, but also preserves the environment. In this video, we'll explore the unique techniques the Amish use to manage pests without chemicals. Number 1. Healthy soil as the foundation. The Amish community places tremendous importance on maintaining healthy soil, viewing it as the foundation for productive and sustainable farming. They understand that robust, nutrient-rich soil not only supports plant growth, but also strengthens plants' natural defenses against pests and diseases. To achieve this, they employ a variety of practices that work in harmony with nature while avoiding synthetic chemicals. One of the primary methods they use is the application of animal manure as a natural fertilizer. Carefully managed to avoid over-fertilization and runoff, manure provides essential nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. These nutrients are slowly released into the soil, feeding crops over time and encouraging microbial activity. This microbial ecosystem is vital for breaking down organic material into forms that plants can easily absorb. The Amish also compost manure to ensure it is properly decomposed, reducing the risk of pathogens and odors while maximizing its fertilizing potential. In addition to animal manure, the Amish make extensive use of green manure through cover crops. These crops, such as clover, vetch, and rye, are planted during off-seasons and later turned into the soil. As they decompose, they enrich the soil with organic matter and nitrogen, improving its structure and water retention. This process also suppresses weeds and prevents soil erosion, further contributing to a healthier growing environment. Crop rotation is another critical practice. By alternating the types of crops grown in a particular area each year, the Amish avoid depleting the soil of specific nutrients and disrupt the life cycles of pests and pathogens. For example, planting nitrogen-fixing legumes like peas or beans after heavy-feeding crops such as corn helps to restore soil fertility naturally. This rotation ensures a balanced nutrient profile in the soil without the need for synthetic fertilizers. Wood ash is sometimes used as a natural soil amendment. Rich in potassium and calcium, it not only provides these essential nutrients, but also helps to regulate soil pH levels. Adjusting the pH creates an environment more conducive to plant growth and less favorable for certain pests and diseases. Wood ash is applied sparingly, as excessive amounts can lead to alkaline conditions, demonstrating the Amish's careful, measured approach to soil management. The Amish are also known for their meticulous attention to soil preparation. They manually till and aerate the soil, ensuring it is well drained and loose enough to support healthy root development. This labor-intensive process allows them to closely monitor the condition of their fields, identifying and addressing potential issues before planting. Manual tilling avoids the compaction often caused by heavy machinery, further promoting robust root systems and soil vitality. Organic matter plays a central role in Amish farming. They incorporate crop residues, fallen leaves, and other plant materials into their fields to increase the soil's organic content. This practice not only improves fertility, but also enhances the soil's capacity to retain moisture, a crucial factor in maintaining plant health during dry periods. Organic matter also supports a diverse ecosystem of beneficial organisms, from earthworms to fungi, all of which contribute to soil health and pest resistance. Soil testing is another important tool for the Amish. They regularly analyze soil samples to determine nutrient levels, pH, and other critical factors. These tests enable them to apply targeted amendments as needed, ensuring optimal growing conditions. For instance, if a test reveals a calcium deficiency, they might use gypsum or another natural source to correct it. This precise approach prevents over-application of any material, preserving the soil's natural balance. Mulching is also widely practiced, both to conserve soil moisture and to suppress weeds. Organic mulches such as straw, grass clippings, or shredded leaves break down over time, adding further nutrients to the soil. By maintaining consistent moisture and reducing weed competition, mulches create a more stable environment for crops to thrive. The Amish also avoid soil erosion through contour farming and the use of natural barriers. By planting along the natural contours of the land and incorporating hedgerows or grass strips, they minimize water runoff and retain topsoil. These methods not only protect the soil, but also enhance water infiltration, ensuring that crops have access to moisture even during dry spells. The result? Number 2, selecting pest-resistant seeds. The process of selecting pest-resistant seeds involves understanding the intricate relationship between plant genetics, environmental conditions, and pest behavior. The Amish approach to seed selection reflects a deep commitment to long-term sustainability and the cultivation of robust, resilient plants. Pest-resistant seeds are chosen not only for their ability to fend off specific insects, but also for their adaptability to local climates and soil conditions, ensuring a harmonious balance between plants and their environment. The first step in selecting pest-resistant seeds is identifying varieties with inherent genetic traits that deter common pests. These seeds are often the result of generations of natural selection, where only the strongest plants that survived pest attacks were saved and propagated. Heirloom seeds are particularly valuable in this regard, as they carry genetic resistance developed over decades or even centuries of cultivation. The Amish prioritize saving seeds from their healthiest plants each season, creating a lineage of crops increasingly adapted to local pest pressures. Hybrid seeds also play a significant role in pest resistance. These are created by crossing two distinct parent plants to combine desirable traits, such as resistance to specific pests or diseases. For example, some hybrids are bred to resist aphids or cabbage worms, significantly reducing the need for external interventions. The Amish carefully evaluate which hybrid varieties align with their sustainable practices, ensuring that the benefits outweigh any potential drawbacks, such as reliance on purchasing new seeds annually. Diversity in seed selection is another crucial strategy. By planting multiple varieties of the same crop, the Amish reduce the likelihood of widespread pest infestations. If a particular pest targets one variety, others may remain unaffected, safeguarding the overall harvest. This approach mirrors the principle of biodiversity, creating an ecosystem where plants support each other's growth and resilience. Additionally, certain seed varieties are chosen for their natural pest-deterring properties. For instance, some beans and herbs emit scents or produce textures that are unappealing to pests, acting as a natural shield for neighboring crops. Seed selection is further enhanced by extensive knowledge of regional pest behaviors. The Amish rely on detailed records of previous infestations and plant performance to guide their choices. They study which pests are prevalent in their area and select seeds specifically bred to withstand those threats. This data-driven approach ensures that the seeds they plant are well equipped to thrive in their unique environmental conditions. Incorporating companion planting into the seed selection process adds another layer of pest control. While the focus remains on pest-resistant seeds, the Amish strategically pair these seeds with plants known to repel pests. For example, pest-resistant tomatoes might be planted alongside basil or marigolds, which deter whiteflies and nematodes, respectively. This holistic method reduces the reliance on any single solution, creating a multifaceted defense against pests. Pest-resistant seeds are often selected for their robust growth patterns. Healthy plants with strong root systems and sturdy stems are naturally less susceptible to pest damage. The Amish recognize this and choose seeds known for producing vigorous plants. This ensures that crops are not only resistant to pests, but also capable of recovering quickly from minor damage, maintaining high productivity throughout the growing season. Number 3, companion planting for natural pest control. Companion planting is an ancient and effective practice used by gardeners to naturally repel pests and enhance plant health. By strategically positioning certain plants next to each other, gardeners can create an environment that naturally deters harmful insects and supports the growth of desired crops. This method relies on the unique chemical signals, scents, and growth patterns of different plants to either attract beneficial insects, repel pests, or provide physical barriers to pests. For instance, marigolds are known to emit a strong scent that repels aphids, nematodes, and other pests, making them an ideal companion plant for a variety of vegetables. In addition to pest-repelling properties, companion plants can also help improve soil fertility and encourage healthier root systems. Legumes, like peas and beans, fix nitrogen in the soil, enriching the environment for nearby plants, which in turn enhances overall plant vigor and pest resistance. Some plants, such as basil, are known to repel insects like mosquitoes and flies, which can be especially useful in vegetable or herb gardens. Moreover, companion planting can encourage the growth of a more biodiverse and resilient ecosystem. For example, planting garlic near roses not only repels aphids, but also supports the overall health of the rose bush. Similarly, planting sunflowers near tomatoes provides natural shade for the tomatoes, while also attracting pollinators that help with fruit production. Another technique within companion planting is the use of trap crops, which attract pests away from more vulnerable plants. Nasturtiums, for example, are highly attractive to aphids and can be planted near cabbages or other leafy greens to draw aphids away from the main crop. This practice reduces the need for chemical pesticides, as it relies on natural pest management strategies to maintain healthy garden ecosystems. In addition, companion planting can reduce competition for nutrients by pairing plants with complementary growth patterns. Tall plants like corn can provide shade for smaller sun-sensitive plants like lettuce or spinach, while deep-rooted plants can help break up compacted soil and allow shallow-rooted plants to thrive. One of the major advantages of companion planting is its ability to improve garden resilience. The interconnectedness of plants in a well-planned companion planting system supports mutual growth and creates a garden that can better withstand environmental stresses like drought, pests, and diseases. By understanding the specific needs and interactions of various plants, gardeners can maximize the benefits of companion planting, creating a more sustainable and thriving garden without the reliance on synthetic chemicals or pesticides. When implemented correctly, this holistic approach to gardening can lead to healthier, more abundant crops, while also promoting environmental sustainability and biodiversity. Number 4, homemade remedies and natural barriers. Homemade remedies and natural barriers are becoming increasingly popular for gardeners seeking effective, sustainable ways to manage pests without the use of harsh chemicals. These methods not only help control harmful insects, but also support the overall health of the garden ecosystem. One of the simplest and most effective homemade remedies is the use of garlic sprays. Garlic contains sulfur compounds that are natural insect repellents. To make a garlic spray, blend a few garlic cloves with water, strain the mixture, and spray it directly onto plants. The strong odor of garlic deters a wide range of pests like aphids, spider mites, and cabbage worms, without harming beneficial insects like bees and ladybugs. Another natural remedy involves the use of neem oil, a powerful organic insecticide derived from the neem tree. Neem oil works by interfering with the feeding and reproductive systems of insects, making it effective against pests such as scale, aphids, and whiteflies. It can be mixed with water and applied to plant foliage, targeting pests without affecting pollinators when used appropriately. Diatomaceous earth is another excellent option for pest control. Made from the fossilized remains of tiny aquatic organisms, this fine powder can be sprinkled around the base of plants or directly on infested areas. It works by dehydrating insects with exoskeletons, such as ants, slugs, and beetles, causing them to die from dehydration. Diatomaceous earth is non-toxic to humans and animals, making it a safe choice for organic gardeners. For a more preventative approach, many gardeners use natural barriers to keep pests away. One common method is to create physical barriers like row covers, which are made of lightweight fabric that protects plants from flying insects, such as mosquitoes and moths. Row covers also act as a shield against cold weather and can help create a more controlled growing environment. Similarly, garden netting or mesh can be used to prevent pests like birds, rabbits, and squirrels from damaging crops. For slugs and snails, copper barriers are highly effective. Slugs and snails are deterred by copper because it reacts with their slime, causing a mild electrical charge that they find unpleasant. Placing copper tape or mesh around plant pots or garden beds can effectively keep these pests at bay without the need for harmful chemicals. Companion planting is another form of natural barrier that creates a defense mechanism for plants. For instance, planting marigolds around vegetable crops can deter aphids and nematodes due to the strong scent of marigold flowers. Similarly, basil, when planted near tomatoes, not only helps repel mosquitoes and flies, but also attracts pollinators that aid in tomato production. A unique but effective natural barrier is the use of certain plants as trap crops. These plants are more attractive to pests than your main crops, drawing the insects away from your valuable plants. For example, planting nasturtiums near your brassicas can attract aphids away from your cabbage and broccoli. These plants can act as decoys, keeping pests at a safe distance from your main crop. Homemade remedies and natural barriers offer a holistic and environmentally friendly alternative to chemical pesticides. They allow gardeners to maintain healthy ecosystems while addressing pest problems without disrupting the balance of nature. By using a combination of these methods, gardeners can keep their plants safe, reduce environmental impact, and create a more resilient garden. Number 5, encouraging beneficial insects. Encouraging beneficial insects is a fundamental strategy for creating a healthy and thriving garden ecosystem. These insects, including predatory beetles, parasitoid wasps, ladybugs, and pollinators like bees, provide essential services that go beyond pest control. A well-balanced garden with an abundance of beneficial insects can thrive without relying on chemical pesticides, ensuring a more sustainable approach to gardening. One of the primary ways to attract beneficial insects is by creating a diverse and habitat-rich garden. These insects thrive in environments that provide a variety of plants, flowers, and shelter. A mix of flowering plants with different bloom times helps provide continuous nectar and pollen sources throughout the growing season. Flowers like sunflowers, goldenrod, and cosmos are particularly attractive to pollinators and hoverflies, which are natural predators of aphids. Including native plants in your garden is especially important, as these species are adapted to your local ecosystem and tend to support a wider range of beneficial insects. Another essential factor in encouraging beneficial insects is minimizing the use of pesticides, especially broad-spectrum chemicals that can harm not only pests, but also the good insects. Instead, gardeners can use targeted, less harmful pest management techniques that do not disrupt the delicate balance between pests and their natural predators. For example, instead of using a broad-spectrum insecticide to combat aphids, you can introduce ladybugs or lacewings, which are natural aphid predators, to the garden. These beneficial insects can control aphid populations without disrupting the surrounding ecosystem. You can also plant companion crops like garlic or chives that act as natural repellents for pests while still benefiting beneficial insects like bees. To further enhance the garden's ability to host beneficial insects, providing shelter is key. Simple features like insect hotels, brush piles, or log piles offer nesting sites for solitary bees, ladybugs, and other beneficial insects. These shelter areas can be placed in shady corners or near the base of plants, providing the necessary hiding spots for insects to rest, breed, or lay eggs. Insect hotels, which consist of hollow bamboo tubes or small wooden boxes filled with holes, serve as homes for solitary bees that do not live in hives. These bees are vital for pollination and are crucial for growing fruit and vegetable crops. Water sources are also important in attracting beneficial insects. Shallow bird baths, small ponds, or even puddles of water can provide hydration for pollinators and insects like dragonflies, which feed on mosquitoes and other pests. Ensure that water sources are not deep, as insects like bees or butterflies need shallow areas to land safely and drink. A simple stone or stick placed in a shallow dish of water can help insects access the water without the risk of drowning. The timing of planting is also a factor in attracting beneficial insects. Many insects emerge during specific times of the year, particularly in the spring and early summer, when temperatures warm up and flowers begin to bloom. By planting early blooming flowers like primroses or lavender, you provide early season nourishment for pollinators and insect predators. In addition, planting a succession of crops ensures that your garden continues to provide food and shelter throughout the growing season, benefiting beneficial insects year-round. Number 6, crop rotation and strategic timing. Crop rotation is one of the most effective practices for maintaining soil health, reducing pest and disease pressure, and optimizing plant growth. This practice involves growing different crops in the same field in successive seasons, preventing the depletion of specific nutrients and disrupting the life cycles of pests and diseases that might otherwise accumulate in the soil. The timing of these rotations is equally important, as it helps align plant growth with environmental factors like climate, moisture availability, and seasonal temperature changes. Understanding how to use crop rotation alongside strategic timing can significantly enhance both the productivity and sustainability of a garden or farm. A well-designed crop rotation plan incorporates a cycle of plants from different plant families, which reduces the risk of soil depletion. For instance, rotating root crops like carrots or potatoes with nitrogen-fixing legumes like beans or peas helps replenish nitrogen in the soil, a key nutrient for plant growth. Legumes, through a symbiotic relationship with nitrogen-fixing bacteria, convert atmospheric nitrogen into forms that plants can use. If these crops are grown in consecutive seasons, the soil remains fertile and rich in essential nutrients, reducing the need for synthetic fertilizers. Another advantage of crop rotation is the prevention of pest and disease buildup. Many pests are species-specific, meaning they thrive on certain crops. For example, aphids are often attracted to brassicas like cabbage, while certain beetles prefer tomatoes or peppers. By rotating crops, you disrupt these pests' life cycles, as they cannot find their preferred host year after year. Additionally, diseases like root rot, which can linger in the soil, are less likely to affect crops if they are moved to a different location in the next growing season. By strategically timing the rotation, You also give soil-borne pathogens time to die off between growing cycles. The timing of crop rotation should be planned around the natural growth patterns of plants and the environment. Some crops, like winter wheat or garlic, have longer growing seasons and should be rotated with crops that have shorter growth cycles, such as lettuce or spinach. This timing ensures that the soil is always being utilized efficiently. A key element of strategic timing is understanding the growth requirements of the plants involved, such as temperature ranges, sunlight needs, and water requirements. For example, cool season crops like kale or broccoli should be planted early in the spring or late in the fall, while warm season crops like tomatoes and peppers are best planted after the last frost. By aligning crop timing with seasonal changes, gardeners can maximize yields and optimize the health of their soil. In addition to the seasonal timing of crop rotation, another factor to consider is the soil's moisture retention. Root crops, for example, can help improve soil structure by loosening it, while leafy greens may help retain moisture with their dense canopy. Over time, rotating crops that suit your region's climate will help maintain soil balance by ensuring that moisture is not overused or wasted. During dry seasons, it is beneficial to rotate with drought-tolerant crops like beans or sunflowers, while in wet conditions, you can rotate with crops like squash that can handle higher levels of moisture without suffering from root diseases. Crop rotation should be planned over multiple seasons to gain maximum benefit. A 3-year or even 4-year rotation is ideal for larger plots, but even smaller scale rotations can provide significant improvements. Some growers use a system of grouping plants into 4 categories: legumes, leafy greens, fruiting crops, and root vegetables. This system ensures that the soil receives varied nutrients from different crops, while also reducing the risk of disease and pest buildup. Timing also extends to planting intervals. Succession planting, or planting new crops as others are harvested, maximizes available space and extends the growing season. For example, after harvesting early crops like peas, you could plant a fast-growing crop like radishes in the same space. This not only maximizes the use of space, but also keeps the soil covered, preventing erosion and reducing the chance of weed growth. In addition to crop rotation and timing, companion planting can enhance the benefits of both practices. Some plants naturally support others by deterring pests or promoting growth, which can further help in maintaining the balance of your ecosystem. For instance, planting basil near tomatoes can help repel certain pests, while planting marigolds can deter nematodes in the soil. This combined approach can create a more robust and resilient garden,